All
Fuck
right.
you,
Summoning
Allan.
jutsu.
Allan, that was not in sync.
All right.
Well, it was close.
So I think it was close enough. All right. So how to be alone, ish. So hello everybody. Welcome back to everybody's favorite podcast. It's your boy James, and today I'm joined by my co-host Allan.
What's up?
And our new co-host Dan. Not much. How are you?
I'm doing great.
All right. so anyway, so Dan, before we get started, well, I'll tell. So the topic today is how to be alone, and how to be okay with being alone and happy with yourself, and and if you're not happy with it, you really don't want to be alone, or maybe you are okay with being alone and you do want to socialize to an extent, right? Like, what are some ways to do that, especially in this age of COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, coronavirus, the virus of many names. So before we get really started, Dan, do you just want to give a brief intro to yourself, like how we know each other and stuff like that?
Okay.
Or
so
you don't have to.
Well, I know James and Allan from Adelphi University studying physics, and then after I graduated with a physics degree, I pursued a graduate program, and I was awarded the graduate position at the University of Pittsburgh as a bioengineering PhD student. Have been working here for slightly over a year. This is my second year here. And I guess all you need to know is that I work at a hospital with ophthalmic imaging, which is the eye, if you don't know that. Yeah, that's pretty much my life.
Pretty awesome stuff. All right, cool. So let's go around. We'll start with Allan. We'll go the other way this time. And Allan, what is your experience with being alone, and are you happy with yourself?
So I am not happy with myself. I'm gonna be real. One of my biggest fears in life is actually ending up alone. Like, whether that be relationship, just like not having people in my life. Like, I don't want to be alone. That's like a very big concern of mine. And
I'm just gonna jump in really quick. Something I did here. That was actually a problem. There's a big problem in the military with the same idea. It's like people feeling alone because whether they're away from their families or when they come back from the military from active duty or something like that, and then it's like all their friends were in the military, So it's like, so it's like, and that they've done some studies on it and stuff like that. Like, a lot more people are actually affected by fear of being alone and loneliness in general than you would assume, especially in the age of like social media, when it's like you see everybody having friends online and stuff. But sorry. Anyway, continue, please.
I mean, yeah, that's like where I'm at. Like, I don't want to be alone, and I don't know how to be happy with just myself.
All right, Dan, take it away.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of being alone, I guess I'm already experiencing that in a much greater extent because I am actually alone. Like, I live by myself. I'm pretty. You guys live with family, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, I basically live alone, and it's been hard because one of the things that I've actually realized maybe like a week ago was that I don't use my vocal cords very often because I'm alone. Like, there's no one to talk to. So there came a point where I literally forgot what my voice sounded like, and that was like kind of scary. I was like, I don't know what I sound like. And the only way I talk is like with you guys or like when I play games with other people. And that was one of the things that scares me the most because being alone, like, you completely get rid of the entire elements of like human to human interaction. And so like when I'm cooking, I'll like I always have shows on like continuously to like fill in the blank spaces in my life. So like when I'm cooking, I'll like be watching something. When I'm showering, I'll be watching something in the showers. When I'm about to sleep, I'll be watching something. So like it kind of sucks in that way. But I think I had like a super long conversation with my sister like a couple days ago about this. But recently I've been trying to be satisfied with living alone, like to find some sort of outlet or some sort of aspect in my life that makes me happy. And what I've been doing is I've been like walking like aimlessly outside, not only for the exercise but just like walking by myself. And I found that really nice, being alone. Like when you're with someone else and you're walking, sometimes you have like you feel like this obligation to like start a conversation, you know, like because it's awkward just like walking silently with two people. So like I found that like walking alone was really cool. Like so I do it very often. Like I walk like about around like 3 miles a day just alone, so, like in complete silence, just listening to music, and I find it really peaceful. So I guess that's one of the aspects I enjoy about being alone. Like I don't have to feel like just an obligation to like talk to someone, which is great. But besides that, like yeah, living alone is really tough, and like being alone, like relationship wise, is also really tough because like I know what it feels like to be with someone, and being with someone versus not being with someone, definitely like being with someone is the better option. Yeah. So that's like my take, like my current situation.
No need to flex on us, Dan.
I mean, I'm not trying to flex, but like that's my
I know,
take
I'm just
on
kidding.
this situation.
Wait, so on
No, that's super interesting.
on that
Sorry, what?
thing about you like forgetting what your voice sounds like, so this is a weird, like everyone has a like always really extreme views on this, but like do you not talk to yourself ever?
I actually don't. I think to myself, you know.
Yeah.
So like, I think, but like I don't like speak out loud. Like I'm not like, oh, like what should I have for dinner? Like I don't say that. I just think in my head like, what am I gonna eat for dinner today? And then I'll like do something about it. But like I don't talk to myself, and because of that, like I told you, I forgot what my voice sounded like.
But when you're thinking that, is it in conversation format, or like, but just all in your head, or is it more just like you're kind of just having the thoughts?
Well, like yeah, I don't talk back to myself. So like if I'm thinking like, oh, like what do I want to eat for dinner, and then I'll respond like, oh, I want to eat this and that. Like I don't respond back. I'll just ask the question, and then like I'll just think of something, and then I'll like
Right.
do it. So like it's not conversation format. It's more of like I'm writing down notes on a piece of paper.
That's yeah. Just because you asked about it, Alan, I only noticed this about myself recently in terms of talking to myself. I mostly only do it like after I listen to podcasts, and then I do that thing where I pretend I was a guest. I'm like a guest on that person's podcast. So like I do it all the time with like Joe Rogan's podcast or something, and I'm like thinking if I had something to add to whatever conversation they were talking about, I'm like pretending as if I was doing that. But other than that, that's the only time I'll actually notice myself talking out loud. Yeah. But just as a quick thing in terms of me being alone, you know, my experience with it, you know, yeah, I'm single right now, so in terms of relationship, I'm not in the better version of it, according to Dan. And
Same.
yeah, and it's let me think. So I thought my social life was like doing pretty good before COVID and quarantine and all that stuff. And then, not like, you know, like it was going great, but it was like I was able to see friends on the weekends and communicate with people. Like the people I was communicating with at work was fulfilling to a large degree. And then once COVID started, it was like the occasional phone call with somebody that I worked with, and mostly seeing my family since I still live with my family. But then like, then after now, since everybody's kind of starting to go back to work, I'm either at home alone because my family's at work, or I'm at work alone because I'm like one of the only people that's in work. So, so it's recently been way lonelier than I had to deal with during most of the quarantine. I'm mostly okay with it, but it does like definitely like weighs on you sometimes when you're like, I feel like I'm not forming any like actual like I'm not strengthening or deepening any relationships with people that I know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can
But
attest to that.
As a quick aside, though, also, so Dan, you say you play stuff all the time, like shows or music or whatever you have, like stuff. I tend to do that as well, but I also make sure that I have points in the day where I'm definitely not doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like I'm, like I think I just don't like I don't like my thoughts being drowned out. So I always get a little bit worried about that. Like I used to always play music when I was in the shower and stuff like that, but I've stopped doing that because that's like it's almost like meditation to an extent. you know. So it's like I like just kind of seeing where my thoughts go and try to like just kind of focus on what I'm doing or something like that. So I actually think that helps because that's generally where I get some of my like ideas that I end up talking to people about later when I'm talking to people. So
Right. Yeah, I can attest to like that whole being alone and like that work stuff because
mhm.
before COVID even happened, I guess being alone was okay because like I would go into work and like talk with other people, and like I think I really miss that now because like I'm home all the time and like what you said, James, besides like the occasional maybe like weekly or twice a week meetings that I have, like I don't really talk to my lab mates anymore, and those are like one of the things that kept me going through the day because I feel like talking with someone, like after you do a ton of work, talking with somebody kind of creates like this physical separation, like physical break, and then you continue doing work afterwards. Now it's like I do a ton of work, and there's no like I can watch a show or whatever, but like I can't separate like work and then break and then work for some reason, like when I'm alone during Corona. So like I need to do work for as many hours as I can in one sitting, and then from there I'm done. Like I'm burnt out. Like I can't go back to doing work. And I think that also speaks with like being in a relationship as well, because you have someone else there to keep you in check, whereas being alone, it's kind of like you have to do that on your own, but it's really hard to I think that's another thing. It's hard to self-motivate. Well, I think for me, it's hard to self-motivate because when I don't want to do something, it's really hard to make myself do that thing unless someone else tells me to.
That's really interesting. Yeah, like I definitely relate to that, but almost in the opposite with the sitting down for as many hours and like working. Like I'm like I will procrastinate working until it's like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. and I'm like I didn't do anything for work today if I was working from home. So now I'll literally stay up till 4 in the morning getting this shit done I need to do, and then my schedule has been so all over the place from working from home and all that stuff, and not like having to see other people. Like like if my first meeting the next day, if I have a meeting, is like not till 11 a.m., then I'm sleeping till 11 a.m. And I'm like, so having those other people to keep you in check, yeah, like 100% helps me be more productive. Yeah.
Yeah, even for me, like when the semester, because I was still in school. Well, I guess Dan, you were also still in school, but like I was still doing undergrad, and like when the semester was remote, like that was missing for me. Just having the people around me, because I wouldn't do my homework alone ever. I would do homework in groups. So just not being able to see a face. I didn't want to ever do my homework. I didn't want to go to class. Just like my academic motivation just like fell off completely. Especially with the semester being pass-fail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so not having people there was very hard.
Did that semester just not affect your GPA? Like it just
It was pass-fail.
So, but like, how was that factored into your GPA? Was it literally like a 4.0 or a 0?
I'm not actually sure. I think my GPA just didn't change because like I didn't fail anything.
Okay, yeah.
So, but I don't know how it was weighted.
I think for Pitt, we had the option to choose pass-fail or get a grade. Like we had that option, and
Yeah.
if it's
I thought
pass-fail,
I was the same way.
if it's pass-fail, it just appears as a P. It doesn't affect your GPA whatsoever. It just shows that you passed the grade, passed the class. But obviously, for students who are doing really well in the class, like they wouldn't want that. They want to like visibly show on their transcript that they got a 4.0 instead of just a pass. So like our school gave the option to students if they wanted to do pass-fail, because obviously the students who were like doing really bad, they took that opportunity by the throat and ran with it, They're like, yeah, I need pass-fail, So I guess it gave some students an advantage in a way.
We didn't have the choice.
Yeah, but
like it was all just
that's I like, so having worked with some people in like at university and stuff, it was really bizarre to see that some people's idea for like grading and what it should be. Some people were like still grading just as hard, from what I heard from like just different faculty throughout the university and stuff. some faculty were grading just as hard as they normally would without the pandemic, and then some were being really lenient, saying like, well, this person might have had somebody in their family that was seriously ill with coronavirus or something like that, or just whatever, like has to deal with a bunch of shit that they never normally would have. So they were just much more lenient when coming to grading, and so like that was a big topic of discussion. I know, in the spring of 2020, and so every school kind of did it differently. It was kind of weird, but that's kind of off the topic, I guess. So we need to think of an out-of-the-box solution for being lonely, and either how to love yourself while you're lonely, or how to not be lonely, I guess, right? So Dan, you actually offered. I've heard people talk about going on walks before, and
It
like
helps.
that being a thing, and I haven't tried it.
You should.
I will now.
It
as
really does help.
in one of the last episodes, I said I was going to shave my head, and I didn't completely shave it, but this is the shortest haircut I've ever had. All right, and it looks like I'm not going bald, so that's good. So I will. I'm a man of my word. I will go on walks. Okay.
What's your dream
Yeah.
job?
And what was it? And, I haven't started the dream journal. All right, and I will start my dream journal. But the thing about walks though is like, I don't know. I don't really like my town, so
Yeah.
it's like almost
No.
like I want to like drive to a park and then go walk in the park.
Yeah,
I
you
actually
should
might
do
do
does
that.
Like I have the luxury of having a park maybe like 4 blocks away, and it's like one of the big parks in Pittsburgh. So, I know this is super irrelevant, but maybe someone who's watching, it's called Frick Park, which is a pretty funny name already, like Frick, like what the Frick Park. So I I like walk around there a lot, and it's really cool because like just walking in a very urban area kind of sucks because it's just a bunch of cars, so much background noise, and it gets kind of annoying. And I live in that part of in that part of Pittsburgh where there are a ton of cars. But if I just walk maybe like half a mile like west, I'll reach a park, and I usually get a lot of, I guess, meditation. I don't know what it's called, but it's more like it's really soothing to breathe in air that's not my apartment air. And then when I come back, I feel super revitalized to like do something. Like, all right, let's do the dishes, or let's clean the house, or let's do some laundry. But if I don't have that, I'm just home, like in bed, or literally right there, just like sitting and like doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, so
That's
the walks
interesting.
help.
Yeah, I'm 100% gonna do this now because I feel almost stupid saying this because it's like everybody's like I feel like almost like walking was like a trendy thing to do in the beginning, like when the gyms were like shut down and everything too, when it's just like and all like the at-home gym equipment was like back ordered online. So I just remember like seeing a few videos and people definitely mentioning that before, but about walking and things like that. But I was just like, who needs
I would like to say
Well,
that
I do that all the time.
it does matter.
What was that?
It does matter if you like the area that you're walking in, because you said like you're not like particularly fond of your hometown or whatever.
Yeah, it's just kind of I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just kind of boring, I guess. Like
No,
it's just
because
some houses.
it's the same way for me. Because when I was still at Columbia, there was like Riverside Park right next to it, and whenever I was feeling stressed or just like had some time, I would go walk in there. So like when I was
yeah.
back home, I tried to recreate that experience of just like being outside and going on a walk or whatever. But like I don't really like my hometown that much. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just like I'm not particularly fond of it or anything. And I actually really don't like the walks that I go on sometimes. Like it almost puts me in a worse mood.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things that sucks about living in New York, because
Yeah.
it's always so loud. I just thought, well, I lived in Queens. You guys both live in Long Island, so it might be different.
Yeah.
But if I was in Queens right now, like, there's no way in hell I would take a walk outside, because there's always a baby screaming, or people like shouting, or like
Dude, car horns are the worst.
Oh yeah.
car horns.
I hate
yeah.
car horns. So like it takes you out of like it breaks every like sense of calm in the thing. And my dad sometimes like I'll be like in the backyard or something like that, and he'll like drive up the driveway and honk the car horn, and it's like he'll do it like just to almost like a friendly kind of like, you know, I am home or like, you know, whatever, just to annoy me. And it's so much worse than it should be. Like it annoys me like down to my bones. You know what I mean? And it like puts me on alert. I'm like, there was a loud freaking noise that just happened next to me. So
Yeah.
but car horns, yeah.
Maybe you guys can like,
Also,
drive to a park or something and then walk around there.
Alan,
'cause the
Alan, we should
trees-
drive. Yeah, Alan, we should drive to a park. We'll meet at the park, and we'll do a podcast in the park
Oh, that's
as
sick.
as we walk around.
That's sick.
Welcome to another episode of the Problem Solvers podcast. Today we're live in, I don't know, whatever park.
The park.
The park.
The park. Yeah.
Here's a
The
tree.
park.
I want still.
We should live stream from a park.
We'll still record separately. It'll just be 2 webcams.
Yeah, we'll have our phones out next to each other like the whole time as we're walking. Man,
Oh, my phone camera is
Um,
broken though.
what did you say?
My phone camera is broken. I can't record anything.
What do you have? You have an iPhone, right?
I do, but the camera is broken because I dropped it on the
But
subway.
it's an
one
iPhone.
time.
Oh
Ah.
man.
But it's an iPhone.
Yeah, and the camera's broken. What do you not understand?
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, all right. So I'm definitely gonna try doing the walk thing. I'll let you know how it goes down.
Try in a park.
Yeah, for sure.
Try it in a park.
And then, but something I've been doing to like try and I don't know which category it would fall into. I don't know if it would be because I don't want to be lonely, or maybe now because I've finally gotten over the hump of loneliness. I don't know. Is I've been trying to reach out to people I haven't talked to in a while. So like one of my friends that moved down to Florida a year or two ago, reached out to him and we were talking, and he's like, you know, like about his life and what's going on, and then who else? Like one of my friends that I went to freaking like, you know, middle school with, and we stayed really good friends, but like I just had, and like throughout high school and college, I just haven't talked to him in like a year or two. So I reached out to him, and like same thing, like so with a bunch of people. So it's been nice to like almost like reconnect in a what feels like a genuine way. It's not like we're just happening to meet up or somebody else makes these plans, you know, where we're both involved. It's like legitimately like I'm just reaching out to you because I want to actually connect with you, and that kind of happened in a way through this Discord, you know, because like Hamid and I were talking. Hamid needs to be on a podcast one of these days, and we were like, we should make a Discord, you know, to have like with all the physics people in it and stuff. So, but that was that before? How old is this Discord? I don't even remember.
It's pretty old, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
like a
that
year.
might have been before. Might have been before.
The Discord or the GroupMe? The Discord's like a few months.
Oh, the GroupMe's legendary.
Yeah. Yeah, the group was from Quantum, right? Or was that from
No, that was way before Quantum.
that was from Modern Physics, I think.
Yeah, and then we.
Dude, it might have been from Modern.
No,
Rose
there was the Adventures of whatever that was from.
That
Yeah.
that was that. The Adventures of Whatever is actually super old because I
Yeah.
remember creating that group chat in my freshman year without you guys, and then you guys were invited afterwards. Like it was just
wow.
our year. It was just our year, and then when we started like having classes with you guys, then we added you in because like that was our main group chat.
Yeah, the one right now I think is from Quantum.
Yeah, I think that's from Quantum.
Yeah,
So that's
which we
like
can't say the name of because it might offend
a
somebody.
viewer.
Yeah, a
Someone
viewer.
who's no longer in the group.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been trying to do: reach out to people, and I've had varying success. It is sometimes a little bit disheartening because like one day I called like one of my friends and he had actually called me. So I called him back, he didn't pick up. Then I was like, all right, well, I've been meaning to call this person. So I called them, they didn't pick up. Then I was like, all right, well, so I called like 4 people and none of them picked
man.
up. But then it worked out because then like an hour later, one of them called me back and we had a great conversation. So, like there was a temporary like extreme slump of loneliness, but then it was like
boom.
back up to, yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
And now it's going
So,
back down.
As every word I say. Wait, Alan, I have a question before we continue because I do want to get your take if you've done anything. Is Alan frozen on your screen as well?
No, he's not.
What?
He's not.
He's
You're
not.
frozen on my screen.
Am
Alan.
I still frozen or?
Yeah, like it's your picture's there. It's just frozen, but it's fine. I'll just use your video then for this thing.
Okay.
So,
Oh.
but anyway, so what are your what have you done or tried anything to be to combat loneliness or accept it?
So I do go on walks, but I wouldn't say that I do that to combat loneliness. It's mostly just like something for me to do. But I have been reaching out to people, like you, I guess. There was the physics group me, but one thing that I used to do a lot was I used to play a lot of League by myself, actually.
So that made you very lonely, probably.
Yeah.
It probably depressed you, actually.
Yeah, it did. Just like one of the first things I did in quarantine there was a Minecraft server I had with some friends from Colombia originally, but then it kind of just died at some point. And then after that died off, like the one thing I defaulted to was just playing League by myself, which is really depressing. So then,
Yeah,
I don't know what happened, but one day in my head I was just like, I have a whole friends list here with active people. Why don't I just like play with them? So then I'm doing
like
that.
League still.
Huh?
League still.
Yeah, like I still play League.
Yeah.
I don't really do a lot by myself anymore, but sometimes I see Egla on. I hit up Egla. That's why she got added to the Discord, because it's just like, oh, hey,
Oh, nice.
it's Egla. And then I play League with Dan and Ditya sometimes. So just like some things
Calvin and Chloe.
Yeah, and Calvin and Chloe. Sometimes they flake. But yeah, just some things that I usually do by myself, I try to just be like, I can have another person for that, because I was going to do, even sometimes when I do programming practice, like I don't know if you know what leak code is, but there's like leak code contests. It's just like a few problems that are like data structures problems basically, and like I could easily do that by myself, but I also do that with someone every week. So yeah, just little things like that, just finding more ways to incorporate people.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope, because so then as a question, wait, sorry, Dan, you did want to add something. I don't know if you already did.
Yeah,
when
so
Allan brought
like
up League.
I wanted to like talk about really quick about like gaming by myself. I find that when I game by myself, I feel very alone, like super, super isolated from everything. And so I will never game by myself. Like, I just think if I game by myself, in my head, I'm like, I'm so lonely and I have to go to gaming because there's nothing else that I can do, like, on my own. So, like, whenever I go on League and I see that no one is active, I'll just immediately log off. Like, I'll be like, all right, peace, I'm out. Because I just can't play games on my own. Like what Allan said, like, I could easily include one other person, and it would be, like, 50, I would say, like, almost 100 times better than playing by myself, Because, like, when you're playing on your own, and I don't know if you feel this way, but when I play by myself and, like, I get angry at the game or I lose the game, it's just so much more detrimental to my mental health than if I'm with other people.
I'm in a
if I'm
bad
with
mood
other
the
people
whole day.
Yeah, if I lose with other people, it's like at least I still had fun, like with other people and interacted.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's why I stopped
But, like,
solo queuing, bro.
Exactly, but like when I'm by myself, like when I'm with other people, it's like so much more fun. But when I'm by myself, like I just can't do it. So like, I will always like, even with like my PS4, like I don't play by myself. Like I always hit up my sister and I have her play with me because she has a PS4 as well. And I made her buy the PSN, like the pay thing you can play online with other people. So like I always play games with other people. And then if I can't do that, then like what I said before, I'll resort to watching shows and binge watching a bunch of stuff. But yeah, that was my take. James, what were you about to say? You were about to say something.
Well, just right off that with games, there's very few games I'm cool with playing like with other people. Not that I don't like playing with other people, but like there's very few games I really enjoy the multiplayer of, I guess. So I actually very much prefer to play video games alone. And but like I tend to play like single player story driven games and stuff like that. So like RPGs and whatnot. So multiplayer games, I don't know why. Just like I'm not like I don't hate them. I just tend to just prefer the RPGs and whatnot. So a lot of times I'll have like a podcast on and I'll be playing like a single player game, and that's like really relaxing. And then if I like to hang out with other people, I'm trying to think, because the only thing I've been playing recently has been Among Us with other people, But like before that, I don't think I was.
Could you imagine solo?
I don't even think.
That would suck.
Yeah. But the thing I was gonna ask is kind of in the same vein, where it's like would you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert? And the way that I define it, the way that thank you for answering, Alan. The way that I tend to think about it, like the strongest factor is how do you recharge your batteries? Do you recharge your batteries by being with other people? And like, you need to socialize and stuff like that, or do you recharge your batteries by being alone and having some alone time and doing something like playing video games or reading a book or walking or whatever,
Are you
So what do
like
you guys-
asking that question?
Yeah. So to start, I'm an introvert. Like I need some alone time to recharge batteries. If I spend a day with people, I am exhausted, and then I need like a few hours to chill out, maybe watch like TV or whatever, read a book, and then like I'm fine to go. But yeah, spending time with people is like generally exhausting. What about you guys?
I guess I'm an introvert. Like I do think that to recharge I need to spend time alone, and like I do end up spending a lot of time alone, but there's probably a handful of people that I wouldn't mind spending all day with them. Like I wouldn't need to be away from them to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's where I'm at. Just but like
Okay.
probably mostly need to be alone to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess for me, this answer is gonna be really dumb, but I've taken like personality tests, and I think for me it really, really depends on the situation. Like, there are moments where when I'm with other people, I'm just loving it, and I'll like it'll keep me going, and I'll want to hang out. Like, there's some parties I've been to where like I wouldn't want to leave. Like, I just want to keep staying and just like I don't feel burnt out. And then there are moments where it's just like, oh fuck, like I have to go out, and like I'm so sick of it. I'm like, I want to stay home. So it really depends on the situation for me. So I can't really attest to being introverted or extroverted. Like, the personality test told me that I'm a person who likes to be alone but enjoys spending time with other people. So I was really confused by that. I was like, what the fuck does
Yeah.
that even mean?
Which personality was it? Myers-Briggs.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I remember like Dipsana made us take it all at the same time. I remember at one point, like Dipsana made me take it. She made
I
Mark
wasn't
take
Is
there
it.
that
for
the one
that.
that classes you as like a INFP?
Yeah.
Like
So
that sort of
I'm
stuff?
an I'm an INFJ, and like that personality is like you love your alone time, but you also love spending time with other people. So like, it's like really weird for me. I can't really tell when to recharge my battery.
I feel like that's sort of similar to how I feel, but I would consider myself an introvert. Like I feel
Yeah,
I
'cause you
relate to
said-
that a lot.
Right, yeah, you said that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said that it depends about the people it depends on the people you're spending time with,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like I wouldn't be happy spending all day just out at the clubs with like a bunch of random people, Like that's I feel like that's like an extrovert. And that's not
Right,
me.
right.
Like if it like I don't mind going to a party, but like I've been to like a frat party with like a whole bunch of people I didn't know. I hated it. I wanted to leave after like 5 minutes. And then I went to an EE party, which is just like our department, and I know everyone there, and like I didn't want to leave.
So it's awesome.
Yeah, like
Right,
that was awesome.
yeah.
Like that's the difference. Like if it's people I know, I don't mind being there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so two things. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember, but I took the test before. I'm also an INFJ. So that's interesting, and that's like one of the less common personality types.
Yeah, it's like 2% or some shit like that.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So it's nice to meet you,
Nice to
fellow
meet you, dude.
INFJ. And it sounds like, Alan, you're probably very similar.
I think I was
but,
an INFP. I don't remember.
Wow, get out of here! Get the fuck out of here! So no, yeah. Like I think that is an important distinction, and this is actually something that we talked about in the previous episode with Chloe with therapy, and like this is something I talked to my therapist about was that you don't need to like just because you need to be alone most of the time to recharge your batteries doesn't mean that you don't like socializing.
Yeah.
Right. So there is that distinction, and I've totally relate to everything you guys said. Like, there's been parties when I don't want it to end because I'm enjoying it, but those tend to be parties with people that I already know pretty well.
Yeah.
It's rarely like a party. Like, meeting new people tends to be exhausting, but it could be fulfilling. But just like I can't, like then go right from that to doing something that's mentally something else that's also I would consider mentally or physically demanding. It's like I need some time to chill. But what was the other thing? I forgot.
You lost
So
it.
yeah, I lost it. But oh yeah. So my therapist also said that sometimes you can get stuck in that trap of being like this has definitely happened to me where it's just like I can't motivate myself to go out and do new things and meet new people and all that stuff. Like I know it's the better thing to do because it's like better in the long term, but I get stuck in the trap of being like I just don't have the energy, don't want to do it, blah blah blah. So so it's like going out with people I already know is okay. It's like not that hard to do, motivate myself to do, but going out with people that I don't know, or even if there's going to be a few people in the group that are new to me, obviously not new to the world, then yeah, it's easy to get stuck in that trap.
Yeah. No, that's something
Yeah, I
I
think-
do in school a lot, actually. Like, every time I've been to a new school, I spend the first, like, month or so just trying to meet as many people as I can so that I'm not alone there. And then once I have established, like, who my friends are, I do not want to meet a single other person.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did my freshman year with Delphi.
Yeah. Were you going to say, Dan?
I was gonna say like for me it really depends on my mood when I meet new people. Like I remember one time I went to like this club or something and I was like having a lot of fun with like people I didn't know. Like it was awesome. And then there'd be some times where I would go to another party or whatever and I would just be like I want to go home, and I'll like stay there for like 30 minutes and then just dip. I'll like leave. So like, I don't know how to classify that. Like, it really depends on how I'm feeling. So, I don't know if I'm extroverted, introverted, neither, or both. Like,
Well,
I have
that-
no idea.
Just going back to the personality test thing, that is something that I do remember. I can't remember where I saw it. I think it was in. I'm probably gonna misrepresent it, but it was probably one of Malcolm Gladwell's books because I love him and he's an amazing author and everybody should read all his books. And in one of them, I think it was, they said that personality tests tend to be, like seemingly apply to very general things about people. So it's like they could try to apply to as broad a personality as they can, before changing the personality type. And the biggest thing that personality tests tend to get wrong is circumstance. So it's just like, yeah, you might be an introvert in one scenario and an extrovert in another, right? Like where so you're exactly the same person, but just the situation is different, and so
I mean, the
like
situation could be the same. Like I've been to
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to two exact like clubbing situations where I'm there with maybe like 2 or 3 people that I know, and then everyone else are strangers. But one day I'll have the best night of my life, and then the other time I would just hate it. So.
But do you think though? Well, so the circumstance though could be something like blood sugar level or something like that. You know what I mean?
Alcohol
Like, 'cause
Okay.
that's also something. Like,
I thought you meant
that-
something less scientific.
I mean, that's kind of scientific.
No, I thought you meant something like. I thought you meant something less.
Oh,
scientific.
like literally, like, oh, I see, like something about whatever you're seeing, or
Yeah.
like something, yeah. I
Like
see
it
what
could
you're
be
saying.
the exact same. Like I could go to the same exact place with the same 2-3 people and have
Mm-hmm.
2 completely different experiences, and
Yeah. I mean,
it
well,
just
that, yeah,
depends. Okay.
yeah. I don't know what to say about that, other than you're a weird guy, Dan.
It's weird,
and,
yeah. I accept that. It's freaking weird, and I hate it because I can be so bipolar sometimes, and it freaking sucks.
So it is a mood thing then. Like your mood is like going into it, or when you get there, kind of thing. Like after the first 5 minutes, you're like, if like that kind of thing. Like you can't get into it.
I think I'm not. I can't
Not
relive
sure.
that
It's-
situation in my head.
Dude, it's
right
been
now.
so long, man. Like, we've been cooped up for 6 months.
Yeah,
I don't know.
COVID's been here for like what, like how many months now?
This is month 7, dude.
Yeah,
I think.
It sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's track back to those solutions again.
Yeah. We'll revisit this in maybe a year or two when we're finally living our best lives again. See if we took our own advice.
Yeah.
But
We all gave our personal
so-
solutions, like going on walks.
yeah.
catching up with old people, not old people, but like
Old
no,
people.
no,
Yeah.
specifically
go
old
talk to
people.
friends.
Yes.
the local old person. Visit a retirement
Something though,
home.
something I have tried to do, that I try to pay that forward a little bit, where it's just like if I'm thinking about like my grandparents or something like that, I do try to give them a call, because this is something that old people probably have to deal with even more so, especially in a pandemic. But even without the pandemic, it's like there's always that kind of trouble, like the lonely old person, which is so sad, and like it really breaks my heart to think about it. So I try to think in a situation where they can't even get out of the house, especially since they're vulnerable, and stuff like that. Then I like, even if it's just a short phone call, just to say, hey, hello, just thinking, do you guys need anything, that type of thing. That tends to make like my grandparents' day, because that might be the only phone call they receive that day, from a family member and stuff. And so I try to think about other people as well, and then, but that, I think that has a positive effect on both of us. It might have a disproportionately positive effect on them, and that would be the goal. But I can't help it having a positive effect on me, because I also get to talk to them. So, I have this weird quick little thing here, and I have no idea if this. I haven't thought about this too much before, so it might come out weird. I have this weird thing where if I'm thinking about somebody that I think I can help by calling them, not like help with the problem they're having, but like if I think that they also might be lonely, it's much easier for me to make that phone call. So it's like a friend that I know that's generally introverted, right? I'll have a much easier time calling them, because I know that like I could be much more honest about it. I'll be like, hey, I've been kind of lonely, whatever. I just wanted to see how you're doing as well. Versus a friend I have that might be extremely extroverted, I'd be more not selfish, more self-aware, or like self-conscious about telling him that problem, because he'll probably think, oh, like, I don't think any friend I have would do this, but in my like worst case scenario imagination, they would be saying, oh, well, you're a loser, you got to go out more, and whatever, blah blah blah. So I think calling people you might not traditionally call, or you think you can help out more by calling than yourself, is like a win-win.
Yeah,
So calling people.
I agree with that. Like, I find myself calling my parents a lot more than I used to nowadays. Like, a lot more. Like, when maybe like before, like last year, I would call them maybe once a week. Like, once a week if it's a good week, But like, if not, I'll call them like once a month or once every 2 weeks. But now I call them. I try to make the effort to call them every day. Like, I'll call them at least once a day. And like, my parents work like full jobs, so they don't get home until late. But I'll like stay up and like make sure that I can at least call them. And even if it's like a 1-minute conversation, like, hey, how are you doing? Like, all right, cool. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Like, it's like super quick. But yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying. Like, it's easier to call them because I can understand that they are suffering from this as well, and especially since both of their children, like both my sister and I, are not in the house anymore. Like, it must be so much more lonely, because there used to be 4 of us and now there's just 2 of them in the house. So like, yeah, I think that it's
empty
a lot
nest
easier.
syndrome.
What's that?
Empty nest syndrome. That's like a thing, I think.
Oh,
for
empty nest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's like a
empty
thing
nest.
for parents.
Yeah. I feel like my parents are suffering a lot, especially my dad. Like, my dad, like, freaking adores like me and my sister. Like, he loves us so much, and like when we left, it was so heartbreaking for him. So like, I make the effort now more than ever to like call them up, be like, hey, what's up? I'm good. All right, peace. Like, really short.
No, that's awesome. That is awesome. And I think that now that I've said it out loud, because I haven't really thought about it much before that, I'm probably going to try and make that effort with more family members, like outside of my grandparents. Because I still live with my parents, so it's like, I don't care about them. I still live with them, So.
Call my dad, like,
So whatever.
I'm downstairs. Why are you calling me?
yeah, right.
Just in case you're lonely,
Yeah.
But
Want me to come down?
but all right. So Allan, share with us your wisdom. Why are you so good at being lonely, Allan?
I'm not. I hate being alone. I really hate being alone.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, Allan, when you were describing your situation earlier in the podcast, you said you were afraid of ending up alone, like at the end of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you feel about this, James. I just want to ask, like, do you feel like, in speaking in terms of like being alone, like, do you feel like there's someone out there who is, like, the one for you, and you will find them? Like, do you think that's a thing, or
No.
do you not believe in that? You don't believe in
I
that?
don't believe in that.
Okay, what about you, James? I just want to hear your thought.
I definitely, when I was in high school, I wouldn't think, like, I knew there wasn't, like, soulmates or anything like that, but I definitely thought there's, I didn't understand the statistics of it, so I thought, oh yeah, it's totally reasonable for me to find the statistically best person for me, but then, now I think at some point that flipped. Now I think I'm like, there's no point to even expecting that I will find anybody that's the best fit possible, so it's just like, I think I went from trying to find in my head the statistically best person, and then to thinking, well, nobody's perfect, so why should I try? Like, I went, like, to the complete polar opposite side.
Right.
And like, literally to the point where, like, I've asked out a few girls back in college,
At Adelphi?
where yeah. And
Was it Adelphi students?
yeah, like, from not from the physics
Was
department.
it?
Sorry,
Was-
sorry to disappoint.
Oh, I was gonna say, why is this
Nah.
so surprising to you?
No, I was curious.
Uh,
No, because I never heard of this story before. That's why
No,
I
no,
was surprised.
Like, so I had gone out with a few girls. Nothing ended up being a long-term relationship because I would, like, in all of them except one, I ended it after, like, a few dates because I was just like like whatever, I'll find another person. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like I was not afraid of finding another person.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, like, a college situation is like, you meet so many people, so it's like it didn't seem unreasonable at the time. Now it's like I haven't met a new person in months, so it's like, I'm like, man, I wonder
It's the end of the world.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would think, like, oh, like, well, this person, like, whatever, I'll find another one. Like I would convince myself of something. So I don't know. It was it was a weird kind of way of looking at it. I think I've come to terms more with the fact that I'm actually just, like, more of afraid of committing to a relationship with somebody. I don't know why. I just, like, whatever. It's like weird shit I have to deal with or, like, work on. But
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I think that statistically, yeah, sure, there's, like, the best person for you in the world, but I think there's plenty of people in that pool that are, like, close enough,
Yeah, because I
Like-
was thinking, so, like, Allan, you don't think that there's someone out there for you, right?
I mean,
Like,
I don't-
That's what you said.
I don't believe in, like, a soulmate. Like, I think that there's
Right.
someone that you'll probably be happy with, even if they're not necessarily, like, what you're expecting. But
Mhm.
I just don't believe in the idea of, like, a soulmate. Like, I think that you could find
Yeah.
someone.
Right. So, like, I feel the same way. Like, well, I do believe that there is someone out there that is perfect for you. Like, I think that that's possible. Like, for someone to be there, that'll be perfect. The matter of finding them or not is, like, the big question. And so that's why I guess I'm not scared that I would end up alone, like, in the future. Like, I think that, like, getting married, having kids, having a family, like, that situation in and of itself is, like, already locked in for me. The only factor that's not locked in is who that person I will be spending my life with, So, do you feel the same way, Allan, or no?
Like, ideally, I would like to be with a person. Like, what
So,
on...
so, like, you don't have that guarantee, right?
No, I don't think that that's locked in for me.
Okay.
I think it's still possible that I could spend the last, like, 20 years of my life just, like, alone.
Okay. Yeah, because, like, I was just curious on how you felt on that, because I remember you
Yeah.
saying that you were scared of being alone.
Like, I don't think it's guaranteed.
Okay.
I just want
What
to
about
have
you,
it.
James? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I completely agree with Alan. Yeah, like, I definitely I definitely see it as a possibility that I could just be alone and, like, never get married or anything like that, or have a family, and which worries me. Like, I do want, like I'm in, I would say I'm probably, like, in the situation between you two. Like, I definitely want to have kids. I want to have a family.
I don't want to have kids, but
You wouldn't, like, adopt kids or anything?
I don't know, maybe not.
You're like Bentley. You're like Bentley.
Yeah, basically. Maybe it's
See,
too
I
early
actually-
to say, but That's where I'm at right now.
I'm I don't know. I'm of the mindset where if I do get married, even if we can have kids and we decide to have kids, I would still be pro adopting kids, at least like one kid, because like the adoption and foster care system in the United States is like pretty tragic. Not always. Some kids are able to do really well and be better people, after they're old enough and can be adults. But not everybody can. So yeah, it's just like it's a solvable problem, and it's kind of a cultural thing too. This is, I know it's way off topic, but like, do you feel lonely? Adopt some kids, So that's our solution. That's our out of the box solution. That was a joke. I was kidding. So, anyway. so other cultures, like I was reading a book. I think it was called "Capitalism: Facing the New Anxieties." It's by a British guy, and he spent some time in Africa and had like some friends in different African countries. I forget exactly where. And he said if something happened where a friend died and they had kids, or like whatever, something like that, or a family member died, an aunt and uncle died, like it was just completely common just to say, okay, like you can live with, like, of course the kids can live with us now. They'll grow up exactly like family. Whereas in kind of like Europe and United States, it's just, I guess not, it's seen as more of like a big deal, So like, it's like, it's a big commitment to commit to like raising, 3 more kids or something like that because your friend had kids and your friend passed away or something like that, like both parents. So, that's, again, I know, way off topic, but I definitely see myself, I see a strong possibility that I'm probably going to end up adopting kids with whoever my future spouse is. But I do also see it as a possibility I might not get married. Then they might not let me have kids if I'm not married. I don't know if that, I think isn't that a requirement? Like you have to be married?
I don't
think it's a requirement.
It's required, but it is strongly recommended
I would think,
that you have a partner.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
So anyway, that's very interesting though, Dan, because you see it as locked in. You're almost like just waiting to find the person that you're gonna end up marrying, have a family with. And I see it the same way, but I do see the possibility that just might not happen.
Yeah, I don't. Not to sound like cocky or whatever, but like I don't see myself like being alone, because I think I would hate my life if I were to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I kind of don't even think about that as a possibility, because if I do, then like it just kind of like kills me, It's like I almost think of it as like I if I close my eyes and like think about my future, like I have a nice house with like kids and like a wife. Like it's already like there for me. And then like what I said, it's just a matter of choosing, like figuring out who that person is.
So then do you see yourself possibly settling for a girl you might not, really, really love, but you love her enough to start a family with, because you think like, oh, well, I'm 30 whatever years old now, like, it's like kind of time to settle down.
That's a great question.
I wouldn't settle.
I wouldn't settle. I don't want to settle either, because if I settle with a person that I'm not 100% satisfied with, I'm just gonna hate myself, because like, again, I think of divorce as not an option as well. Like once I'm married, I'm freaking in there, like that's it. So I need to like
More ways than one.
I need to, huh?
No, I'm totally on the same boat, by the way.
Yeah, like once I'm married, like the stamp has been sealed. Like it's I just can't. I wouldn't be able to rip a family apart like that, Like that's why when I am dating and I'm looking for someone, like I need to make sure that
their wife material.
No, I don't want to say it like that. I believe every woman is wife material. I don't know about every woman, but
Wait, let me walk back that statement I just made. I know what you mean.
Yeah, obviously, like I want to say like at least every woman has the potential to be wife material. It's not a matter of them being wife material. It's a matter of me seeing myself 20 years and still loving spending time with that person, no matter how much time it dissipates. Because like when you first start dating someone, everything is super exciting, super new, it's super fun. But once it settles down, that's when the real relationship starts, I think. Like like trying to like balance everything, getting to know who they really are, you know, because like when a relationship starts, you don't know who they really are until like you start seeing the little cracks and crevices, you know. And so like I think I wouldn't, like what Allan said, I would never settle for someone that I'm not 100% satisfied with, because then I would just hate myself for the rest of my life, and they would hate it too, so why would I want to put them in that situation?
So you're like, you would look for the perfect person, I guess.
Yeah, like the and like I guess it kind of ties in. Like I know I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions, but I certainly feel like my family plays a role into this, because if I really really like that person and my mom, dad, and my sister are like not keen on that person, then like it kind of it does like take into effect of like whether or not I want to be with that person or not, you know. It's like I think family is something else, but yeah, like what you said, Alan, like I would want to find like the perfect person for me.
So like, do you think that your idea of the perfect person won't change over time though? Because like they could be perfect
No.
for you at the moment. You think it won't change?
No, it hasn't changed since like high school. It hasn't.
All right, let's start with the legs. Okay, so what is this?
So the left leg has to be like half an inch shorter than the right leg.
Yeah.
So they have some sort of weird scoliosis thing going on, you know? Like, yeah. But no. Like.
I know what you mean. I'm kidding. I was kidding, but
obviously it's like the person can be different, but the structure, like not anatomy wise, but the skeleton of the perfect girl for me is set, and the details can come in later. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if the skeleton's not there, then that's a no-go for me.
this might be probably not the most politically correct thing to say, but like I agree. I'm definitely, again, very similar in a similar boat to you, Dan, where it's just like there's almost like a threshold where it's just like if a girl is, you know, kind of passes all these check marks in my head, you know, then like, you know, that's kind of good. And then obviously, you know, getting into the relationship part of it, like you said, things don't come out until you get to know, like, you're in a relationship for a long time. But so that's completely different. But yeah, but initially there's almost like just this threshold of things. It's like, well, if you pass all these kind of check marks, then it's just like, like, you know, mental whatever, like, you know, mental check marks, then you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to point out for any future viewers, I don't have a preference on like what they look like. All the check marks that I have are related to personality and their like intelligence. Because I'm sorry to say this, but I can't date someone who's not as smart as I am. Because I think it'd be really hard to talk to them. You know, like talking to someone who's not as smart as I think I would have a major struggle with that.
I want to date someone dumber than me, to be honest.
I can't. Like, it's not possible. Like, imagine having to explain everything to them.
Yeah,
you
but
know? Like,
imagine someone that's okay with poop jokes the same way you are.
yeah, but I want someone who's okay with poop jokes, but also like, who's also intelligent. You know. Like, imagine like I come back from a stressful day of work and I want to like rant about the work that I did. They're just gonna sit there. I want someone who can be like, oh yeah, like yeah, I understand that, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
you know,
I
I want that.
I solved that equation back in my day. I remember.
yeah.
I just want
Did you
someone
try
that I
the
can
differential
relate
equation?
with, like career wise. You know, it doesn't have to be bioengineering, but someone who can understand what I'm doing.
What if
base level?
What if it's not? What if they're really smart but in a completely different field?
Yeah, see, I would accept that because like being smart in a specific field like doesn't mean that you can't understand what you're talking about in another field. Like they'll be able to pick it up quickly, you know, much faster than someone who like per se isn't very smart at any field, you know. So like a person who's super freaking smart at business can relate to someone who's super smart in like physics, because like if you start explaining the terms like from the bare bottom and like you build it up, like they can like stack up that tower and like understand what you're trying to say. But
The fuck was that, Alan?
My desk has like a part that like rolls out. It's like a little loose.
Oh,
I see.
I
see.
keep playing with
Yeah.
it.
but anyway. So
But
sorry,
anyways,
Dan.
sorry.
yeah, I was saying like a person who's really smart can like stack up the pieces and it'll like stack up really high and like that's
Yeah.
how much they can understand. But someone who's not smart, they'll like stack it up to here, and then once you start piling more shit on, it just falls over, and then they're like, you lost me, like I'm gone.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what.
But no, it's interesting. Again, like I'm on the same page as you. Like I definitely want somebody that is at least as like I feel like we're on very similar or she's smarter than me level, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for that reason, like to like I don't know. You never know, right? Like I could meet somebody that
It's not as smart as you, but.
well, I was gonna say like sometimes I tend to judge people not judge them, but like make assumptions about people pretty quickly, and then I end up being completely surprised after getting to know them more. It's just like first impressions are deceiving or can be deceiving.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I constantly try to remind myself of that. I'm not condoning my own behavior here, but just saying like, yeah, I try to keep an open mind as possible in general. It's just a rule of thumb, but yeah. So being lonely in relationships,
I think we
that's
got
a
that
tough
base
one.
covered.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. We got the three bases here
Yeah, we
Three.
do.
of lonely people. So
Wait, what? What are the three
Uh,
bases?
I'm
The
base
three of
1, you're
us.
base 2, Dan is base 3.
Yeah. He was
'Cause
making a joke.
We're in like a triangle.
Yeah.
Oh, I
shape.
thought you meant. Never mind.
On the screen.
Never mind.
No, not like metaphorically.
Yeah,
Not
I
like
thought you
that,
meant like
not like
each of us
bases.
represented like a different, like. Never mind.
Oh, like level
No.
of
Yeah.
loneliness.
no,
no.
no.
No. But anyway, so any closing thoughts then, guys, on loneliness and friendship in general, like physically being alone or relationship? What are your closing thoughts, closing remarks? And then I think we'll wrap it up. We've been going for an hour.
Yeah. Alan? I guess Alan
Um,
start?
I guess be more open to interacting with people.
That's a good one.
That's all I got.
I would say try to find something, explore different activities that you may think that were not fun, and it might turn out to be fun, like walking, for example. So yeah, you find that one thing, and if you find that one thing, I think you'll be good being alone for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. I would say, yeah, reach out to people. People you think you might not, might be weird to reach out to them because it's been a while since you last talked, or people that you think might be even in a worse, like a more lonely situation than you are. And, always keep an open mind. And
Alright.
I think that's it. That's it, boys.
Shoot
I
each
think
other,
we did the
boys.
world a great service today by talking at them for an hour. If you guys have before I do the outro, I shouldn't be rude. Dan, can you please do the outro for this video? We do the same outro every single time. Everybody loves our outro.
What's
it's
the outro?
It's
I
like
don't
our
know
famous outro.
I don't know the outro.
You're the first person to admit that.
I don't know the outro.
We don't have an
We don't have an
outro.
outro.
We don't have.
Wait, I'm the first person to admit that? These freaking
Yeah,
rude,
every new.
these
every
rude
per-
people. How can they lie?
No, no. Every time the first time we had Chloe on, I asked her to do it, and she was like, oh no, I guess she was kind of on this. She said she didn't watch it. She said she lied about watching the whole video. She didn't watch till the end. And then my friend John, who we had on, he said like he said his outro was, okay, goodbye, and then he shut it off.
Yeah, I don't know the
but
outro.
yeah,
I don't
so-
know the outro.
We don't have an outro. Just do whatever you want for the outro.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and in our next video, which will be about how to,
Did we decide?
Yeah, did we just?
in our next video on when we discuss about feeling like you don't care about other people or feeling like it's hard to talk to others, you should definitely check us out on episode 6, 7.
Nah,
10?
10. It'll be 10.
Episode 10, yeah. So come back episode 10, and we'll catch you then. Peace.
Like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button. Okay. All right, let's stop recording. Ready? 3, 2, 1, stop.